Hello and welcome to my channel. The Incorporated Society of Musicians, the ISM, has recently published a report based on a survey of 500 music teachers across the UK, and it makes disturbing reading because it implies that music education is in a marked state of decline. It's really important to frame this in the context of music in this country ever since the Second World War, which has always held a very important place in national life. Music education has thrived and caused the burgeoning of musical creativity over a long period of time. While music has been freely available in schools, people like myself and hundreds of professional musicians like me were educated in state schools and had a very exciting musical education. And it really worries me that young people now are not able to access music education in the way that I was able to. And other musicians, many other professionals that I talked to, also were able to just become musicians. And I think that there's something deeply disturbing about the marked decline in the past 5 years. A key reason for the decline is when Michael Gove, the Conservative Minister for Education a few years ago, introduced the English Baccalaureate and something called Progress 8, which is an emphasis on 8, what he called core subjects. Music was ruled out of those core subjects for the first time in kind of forever, because music has always been an essential part of the educational system. And I mean always, in the sense that well, Oxford has given music doctorates since, Queen Elizabeth I's time, and so it is one of these core subjects. And the private sector knows this. You send your kids to a private school and they will tend to have thriving music departments, because in the independent sector it's well known that music causes high level of morale, it boosts a sense of community. It's of course enormously important in terms of ambassadorial things, because put on a good show and people are impressed. Music is hugely vital, I would say, to the life of a school. But in the state sector, music has been completely squashed because it's no longer a core subject, and so many schools don't even have a music teacher. Primary education, in which music always used to thrive, with all the singing of songs, and you always had teachers who played the piano and so on, that's no longer the case. So in many primary schools today there is no music of any kind, and many state schools no longer offer GCSE music, even fewer offer A-level music. According to the ISM report, in one British city there is not a single school that offers music A-level. The ISM report also points out that in the independent sector, schools are spending 5 times as much on music as elsewhere. And as a result of that, what the ISM report describes as a shocking state of inequality is beginning to emerge. So we are moving from being a society in which everybody had access to music education, and with all the benefits of that resulted in, we're now moving to a state where basically music is only available to rich people, and ordinary working people no longer have access to music education, not just in the classroom but also in terms of instrumental tuition, because whereas at one time there was free music tuition, instrumental tuition, that's no longer available. So, dire state of affairs. All I can say, I'm sorry to be moaning about this, but we need to do something. The ISM report also suggests that the current government is either unaware or pretending not to notice what's happening, and I think the latter is probably true. It's odd, isn't it? The current government has a very cavalier attitude to the situation, as if it really doesn't care. The music industry in 2018 generated £5.2 billion to the national coffers, so that's a reasonable contribution. And music is an essential part of our national life, and part of what makes Britain a great country, as far as I'm concerned. That simply is evaporating under the current policy, current educational policy. And government seems to be pretending not to notice. The appointment of Nadine Dorries as Culture Secretary was alarming for all kinds of reasons. And you do wonder How does government even view the arts? Does it have any view of the arts at all? Judging by that horrific advert during COVID in which you saw a ballet dancer being exhorted to retrain. I mean, talk about a government that seems to be unconcerned about the decline of the creative industries. It's really terrifying. Apparently the best suggestion that comes from the top, in other words the chairman of Ofqual, has said music specialists need to be redeployed and that in some schools music services need to be suspended. So the only advice that's coming from the top is basically, oh, just cut music out of the curriculum. What the hell is going on? People of Britain, unite. Something has to be done. Write to your MP. We need to be taking to the streets.